Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the newest episode of Improv Gaming here on youtube.com/Improv Gaming. As always, I'm joined with these two fucktards. To my left, he's only the biggest Zelda fan in the world. Don't believe me, he has the tattoo of the Triforce on his arm. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jeremy Bird.
Fucktard number 1, ready to go.
Nice.
You're welcome.
And to my right, he's only the fucktardiest. And he only has the best ponytail in the business.
It's fabulous.
Mr. Nicholas.
How's it going tonight, everybody? Fucktard number 2 at your service.
I just realized we made it a minute and dropped the F-bomb. I like it. I like it a lot.
Nice. Triple F-bomb.
And I'm holier than thou.
Get the hell out of here.
And I'm Pete. And I'm wondering this week. See, we have a thing here on Improv Gaming. Before we tend to start an episode, we'll go into a cartoon. Either a Family Guy, South Park, one of those. So I posed a question to you. What is the cartoon to rule them all?
You guys already know my answer. You know my answer. It's South Park.
Why?
I think South Park does better than a lot of other cartoons that want to be adult-oriented, that want to appeal to an adult audience. I think South Park has a "fuck you, I don't care" mentality, and they they genuinely do not give a shit about what you have to say about what it is that they do. They just do it. I think this season, what was it? Season 19 we're in, I believe.
Yeah, I think it is.
This season, they're starting to kind of play along with that concept of, oh, you want us to be like you. And I feel like at the end of the season, it's going to either erupt into something huge where they're going to be like, no, go fuck yourself with South Park. That's how I feel this season's going to play out. But I think that they always have so much strong adult commentary, and it's a motif that goes through each and every episode. Whereas, there's one episode of Simpsons that will talk about something political, and then the next episode is completely goofy just to remind you that it's the cartoon. Whereas South Park wants you to take it seriously about what they're saying, but they're making fun of the world as they see it.
Beautifully said.
I'm going to go with the reigning and defending longest-running animated series in television of now, The Simpsons. Been watching it since it came out. I love the satire. I love it how, yes, they have changed up their styles over the last 30 years plus. And just how the evolution of The Simpsons starts out, very simple, very, each episode, like you said, deals with a different topic. But yet, some were, political, some were, have to do with social, some were just completely out there for no reason. I just love how, each episode is different. You have an amazing cast of characters there's, at least 300 to 400 different Simpson characters that everybody can relate to. And because it just holds that special place for me of that one show. Growing up, I got to watch Thursday nights, not Sundays. Thursday nights at 8 o'clock. That's when it originally debuted back in the 90s, showing my age. And you can't beat Bart Simpson. So right there, Eric Cartman, right there.
That's cute. That reminds me of the one time that I had a problem with the kid, so I ground his parents up into chili and made him eat it. that was my favorite episode.
I've seen that.
Like, oh yeah, you think you're badass, but I'm completely evil. Yeah. So badass compares nothing to evil.
Yeah, no, it's I saw the statue off my. I saw the head off a statue. That's pretty hardcore. And then kaboom! I'm like, wow.
What's yours, Pete?
Rugrats.
Get the wow.
You know what? I can.
It was edgy at the time.
Yeah.
They had babies and diapers.
I think the reason why Pete is talking about Rugrats is because he's been influenced by Doctor Who, and Rugrats was fully inspired by Doctor Who.
It was.
Of course.
There are Daleks in a couple episodes.
Well, it's about a guy with his companion joining him, and his screwdriver can get him through any door.
Yep.
Or pen. I would have to say, it's a toss-up between Family Guy and Futurama. I have to give the edge, though, a little bit more to Futurama.
Nice.
Just because it was canceled, yes, so was Family Guy.
It was canceled twice.
It was canceled twice, and they brought it back, and it's just great episodes, characters that are unforgettable, and just cool, goofy stories. but with that adult humor. You know, it wasn't like the South Park where it was completely serious. It wasn't where it teetered on. It was just silly and fun. And you just had Farnsworth go, "Good news, everyone!"
Good
And
news,
it would just
everyone.
bring you in. Like you saw last week on youtube.com/improvgaming.
Why not Zoidberg?
Yeah. And then Bender, you know, I love me some Zach Brannigan. Like, it was just...
Oh, God.
If you're new to the show, welcome. If you don't know what we're about, we're three pirates plumaging for gold. We plumage on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Oh, God, no.
Damn it.
We also talk about video games on some of those days. We do Let's Plays. We do Twitches. Tuesdays and Thursdays to be expected. Also, the first topic is all about Uncharted. And if you're watching this, please go back and enjoy the Let's Play of the Uncharted demo. It's actually very fun.
What's that? That's 4, right?
No, it's on the collection.
Oh, it's on the collection. Oh, okay.
Nice.
But I'm going to also favor why you should play the collection. But we'll get into that. But before, we're going to take a little jaywalk and pass it over to Mr. Jeremy.
Yeah, let's jaywalk right into what's coming up this week in gaming. We have Atelier Arlen Trilogy for PS3. Something I'm gonna buy. Back to the Future, Back to the Future the game, the 30th anniversary edition for Xbox 360, PS4. We have Corpse Party Blood Drive for PS Vita. You and I should definitely play that one. Dragon Age Heroes for PS4. I'm gonna play that because that looks awesome. Grand Ages Medieval for PS4. Minecraft Story Mode Episode 1, The Order of the Stone for Xbox. Xbox 360, PS4, PS3, and PC, bro!
PC, bro!
Woo-woo! It's
That's
never
going to be
go away.
interesting. That Minecraft
Isn't
with the
that
story.
being done with Telltale?
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
so.
that's nice. That's nice.
It's going to be interesting how they do it.
Nice. We also have The Talos Principle for PS4, Wasteland 2 for Xbox and PS4, Goosebumps for Xbox 360, PS4, and 3DS, Yoshi's Woolly World, which I'm really excited for, and we have Mushroom 2 coming out for Mac, Linux, and PC, bro!
PC, bro.
Woo woo! Ladies and gentlemen, you're never going to get rid of that. Thanks to South Park. It ain't going away.
It's
anytime
never
soon.
going away.
Deal with it.
And that's why South Park is the best. I'm sorry, but it even inspired some stuff we do on this show.
Yep. Now we can jaywalk right back into, do we feel Uncharted is overrated?
Well, on a sidebar, in the
Damn.
comments, please let me
He
know.
ruins my jaywalk, asshole.
Because I forgot it. It's not on the list. Witcher, The Heart of Stone. Let me know in the comments, please, if I actually have to play Witcher the game. As you guys know, when I did the Destiny bundle unwrapping, I had to import all my games, and I don't have the save for Witcher 3. Which makes me worried that I will not be able to enjoy the DLC. And I don't have 60 hours to spare to play Witcher again.
Yeah, sure.
Even though it is, by far, right now, my game of the year.
Nice.
Then again, Tomb Raider hasn't come out. And a whole bunch of that stuff. But Jay, walking back in, what were you saying?
I was saying our question today is Uncharted an overrated game, or is it does it deserve the highly acclaimed praise it's been getting?
To me, the first one started, and when I played the first one, it was absolutely phenomenal. It was something unlike anything I had ever played before. Because let me tell you why. Number one. No. When I played Tomb Raider was very clunky. It wasn't a very smooth game. It was very clunky. Even combat in the game was very hard to get around. Uncharted, though, was very smooth. It was probably one of the smoothest games I had ever played in a very long time. Mind you, this was right after playing... No, actually, this was before playing everything else. Before I played anything else on the PlayStation 3. It was Uncharted that I had played first. And as my first inception into what it was to be part of the PlayStation 3 universe, Uncharted really sold me on what the PlayStation 3 was about and what the PlayStation 3 could do. Everything about it was smoother than I had ever seen before in a action role playing adventure game kind of thing. You did get smooth dynamics like that in games like Devil May Cry and God of War, but they're so streamlined and they're so close. They're so streamlined that you have to maintain whatever sense of objective you're going after. Uncharted, the first one, felt like the world had opened up. You had these beautiful scenery. You had these stunning visuals, and then you had the streamline, the very smooth gameplay, the very smooth switching between weapons and fighting characters and hiding, and to me, it was phenomenal. After that, though, I feel like the reputation of Uncharted was going up while the quality of game was going down. And let me explain. Let me explain what I mean. To me,
you got a lot of people hating.
Yeah, I know, I understand. But when you play a game like Assassin's Creed, and it's very small in scale. It's not a big game, but it gave you some ideas to play around with and some things to enjoy about the game, right? And then you make the jump to Assassin's Creed 2, and now they took what was great and they expanded upon it. They made it better, and it was vastly better. To me, people talk about the story of Uncharted 2 and how great the story was. But to me, the game itself wasn't very much improved on. The gameplay, the actual dynamics of the game weren't improved on. The story was phenomenal. And that was the only improvement that they made in Uncharted 2. In Assassin's Creed 2, they expanded on everything. Not just the story of Assassin's Creed so that then you can delve more into this universe. It was the gameplay that took a phenomenal leap, where instead of walking around, you were running. Instead of going into this slow assassination hitman type of pace, you could actually move people out of your way, so that then you can go ahead and get closer to your target in a crowd. Instead of having to get to an edge and lock onto an enemy so that then you can assassinate them, you could streamline it and start running to the edge if you knew the enemy was there and then assassinate them right off of the edge. You had the hook blade where you could start zip lining down. Like they vastly improved on the dynamics of the game, and they made it core to the experience of Assassin's Creed 3. Assassin's Creed 2. They took a lot of it out for the next installations.
Well, Unity is the best game, right? According to you.
Unity is garbage. But they took it out for the next installations. They took a lot of the stuff that they did so well in Assassin's Creed 2 out in the next installations. But in Uncharted, you never saw that. They stuck with the gameplay that you had. And that was it. Like, you're stuck with that. So now, 1, 2, and 3 all feel like the same game, just with different stories tied in. And as much as I don't want to say it, and trust me, believe me, I do not want to say it, it felt like a Call of Duty-esque kind of business practice. We're not going to really do much to the gameplay. We're just going to give you a different story. We're not going to do much to the gameplay, just give you a different story. And I'm hoping that Uncharted 4 isn't that. I'm hoping that they've done something, but they're not going to, because it's a formula that's worked so much, and it's a formula that's gotten them so much acclaim. And I know there's going to be so many people, don't fix a thing if it's not broken. And if you want to tell me that Uncharted's not broken, then explain to me how grenades can go through walls.
Got a good point there.
You understand? Because I've never seen a grenade go through a wall. I've never seen a grenade in person. But in video games, I've never seen a grenade that'll glitch through a wall. But yet, Uncharted can seem to do that. Explain to me how a headshot can miss when I saw it contact. There are things wrong with the game. And it's a very well done game, don't get me wrong. But there are things wrong with the game that they should have fixed. And there are things wrong with the game. Not wrong with the game, but there are aspects that they could have improved on in order to make the game that much better. And they never did. They kept the formula that worked for them in part 1, and that's fine. But there was no improvement on what your success was. There wasn't any snowball with that game.
So you think it's overrated?
I think now it's overrated. When it first came out, I thought it was phenomenal. and it was a great game, and it deserved the acclaim that it got. But now I think it's gotten to a point where it's overrated.
I think it's overrated because the fourth one, the demo crashed at E3. Yeah, I remember watching it. He walks through the gates, all of a sudden, and there's no dialogue. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so I skipped the first game originally. Ooh, taboo, shun on me. I'm like, okay, it didn't catch me at first. So then the second one comes out, and no one shuts the fuck up about, Uncharted 2, Uncharted 2, and I'm like, alright, let me see what this is all about. I bought it, I played it, I beat it, and I'm like, alright, it was enjoyable. It wasn't the big, great masterpiece that everybody was claiming it to be. I went back and played the first one, and then literally I did the trilogy in one shot. I played 1, I played 2, I played 3. I burned myself out on all 3 games, and enjoyable, yes. Overrated, very. I think it's good for what it is, but if you look at, name some, okay, you can get mad if you want. It's going to get lost in the shuffle in the great games of all time. Metal Gear is going to be there. Zelda's going to be there. You're going to have Final Fantasy. Uncharted is just going to get lost in the dust like Tomb Raider and a couple other games along those lines.
It's a bold statement.
I say it because there's a lot of franchises out there which literally are thinking they're going to be the next great game which is going to make it on that pedestal of time, and I think it's just they're not going to make it. You're going to have these core franchises.
See, I feel like Uncharted has prematurely gotten there already, and it hasn't stood the test of time because it's only one console generation.
Yeah.
That's all it's survived is just one console generation. But I feel like people already want to put it up there with Tomb Raider.
Yeah, that's personal choice.
They want to put it up there. PlayStation All-Stars had Drake in it.
That's what pissed me off. I'm like,
that's
my
not...
name is Peter Anderson. I'm gonna rip these guys' assholes.
PlayStation All-Star had Drake in it.
Best fighting game of all time.
Yeah, the best fighting game of all time. It had Drake and Parappa the Rapper, 2 dead franchises. Well, not 2 dead franchises. A newborn franchise and one that we had a funeral for 3 times over.
Yep.
So I people already want to put it up there, and it's already gotten so much acclaim that it's already on this pedestal of timelessness. It's just been one generation.
Give it a couple of games, couple of dozen games, and then we'll talk.
And it's rushed too. I mean, Metal Gear Solid doesn't even get that many generations. Doesn't even get that many games in a generation. Generally.
And that's still gonna sit up there.
But that's still gonna be up there. Final Fantasy doesn't get that many games in a generation. I just
sometimes it gets flooded, but.
But I like the conversation that we had about Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed. And granted, yes, Assassin's Creed has become one of those skin remapping games. So I'm not discrediting Assassin's Creed. I'm just talking about that iteration from the first to the second when I'm referencing it.
Nick's rolling again.
I'm sorry. All right, I'll shut up. Do you want me to shut up? I'll shut up.
Hello, my name is Pete Anderson.
I'm going to take a moment of your time to explain why Uncharted is not overrated. Let me give you facts.
Next time on Improv Gaming.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Go ahead.
Bias!
Uncharted 1. Phenomenal game. It opened people's eyes to see what the PlayStation can do. Because you have to remember, the Uncharted came out right when the PS3 came out.
Wait a minute. The Uncharted was on the PlayStation. You said, let's see what the PlayStation can do. It was on the PlayStation 1?
No, it was on PlayStation 3.
You said it was on. You just said it was on the PlayStation.
You know what? You said
I love it when me and Jeremy on one side of an argument and Pete's the other side of it, because then we just gang up on it.
You know who was ganging up on me? The fans. The fans were.
That's because they're as brainwashed as you are, Pete.
Well, it does come full circle whenever someone gets fucked in here. Anyway, well, go ahead. Sorry.
It was the first game to really show off the PS3.
Thank you.
PS3.
I didn't say that. He did.
You know what? The system. I mean, it was a gorgeous game. The story was there. And Naughty Dog had a hit on their hands. And it wasn't as well perceived. You have to also remember, guys, Uncharted, the Drake's Fortune, the first one, wasn't really played that much. It wasn't until they came out with Among Thieves, Uncharted 2, that it blew up as much as it did. Because what... I let you talk, you
right.
son of a
You're
bitch.
Right. You're right.
He's pissed.
When E3 came around and they did the demo, and I believe they did the demo of the train sequence in the beginning of the game.
They did.
When all this stuff is happening, and it's in real time, and you're like, oh my god, this is absolutely insane. You know, it showed that interest, and then when people played it, it was like playing an Indiana Jones crazy action game. And it built on a lot of things that the original Uncharted did. Number one, you're going to different locales when the original was just in the jungle for the most part. You know, Elena's following you around trying to document you. You know, this in Uncharted 2, you have a little bit more of a relationship. You know, things are going down. You have the bizarre witchcraft with all this stuff going on, but you still have these full on like adventure type. Like it's just you have the train sequence. You have all these different things, and it was fantastic, and people were praising this game, and it was great. Is it on the par of being legendary? No. But then you get to Uncharted 3.
Really? You're gonna reference Uncharted 3? Arguably the worst game in the series.
Arguably not. I think it's the best.
Everybody can. I would say that most fans have a consensus that that Uncharted 3 is the worst game in the series.
Why?
Because the selling point of 3 was the multiplayer and not the gameplay.
He's got a good point.
Thank you, Jack.
The selling
You
point.
don't play Uncharted for the multiplayer.
But that was a selling point of
Okay,
that's
so
why it was a horrible game, because they did not focus on the game. They only focused on the multiplayer.
Yeah, but when you play the game, it was fantastic. Not only was the story good, it gave the full.
The story was crap.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it
okay,
was.
Well, let me explain
The story
why.
was crap.
It gave it overall. It showed how Nate met.
An origin story, so it's good.
No, it showed the bar scene in the beginning with just all this, with the ring and all this build up, the counter system being introduced, all this stuff. The hint at The Last of Us, if you didn't realize, there was a hint. I'm just saying, but that's neither here or there. But then you come and you have that childhood where you see with the ring and that whole arching thing and how we met Sully and how all this transpired to be, and then you have these crazy set pieces. It was a year and a half they made that game, which is unheard of. Uncharted 2 was so popular that they countered on making this game just as big. So they had not even a full game cycle to put this game out. And you had those sequences where you're on the cars or you're on the horse and you're riding through the desert, and then you're waiting for that scene where it shows him jumping. And no, it's just you jumping and you're continuing playing the game. That was a surreal moment where you're on this horse and then finally you hit the X button, you grab the truck ahead of you and you're like, oh my god, I'm controlling this right now. And you're shooting the guys. And it's just that atmosphere. Is the multiplayer tacked on? You have to remember Uncharted 2 also had multiplayer. But that's not what Uncharted was about. And that's why when you get the collection, which is 1080p now, 60 frames per second, there's no multiplayer because Uncharted knows what it's...
Because he knew that was a bad idea.
Yeah, but you're playing Uncharted for the story, for the action.
Yeah, but that's not what the selling point of 3 was.
We're not talking about
They were trying to sell it on the whole idea that, we've improved multiplayer, and that's why you're going to be able to play, you're going to be able to enjoy Uncharted 3, is that we've spent all this time on multiplayer, but the story is absolute trash.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. Oh, God, that story was garbage. That story was garbage. I'm sorry.
It was an overall story.
Oh, I'm a little boy that stole something from you, and I want to go track my great grandfather, and I'm not gonna fucking shoot that kid as a wanted criminal who is known for being a thief and a raider. I'm not gonna shoot that little piece of shit from some fucking third world country that tried to steal my goddamn ring. Are you kidding me?
That's not that long. That's
a terrible plot. Is to say that Sully, this hardened criminal, decided to take sympathy on a boy and go up against an entire organization because the kid felt something about a fucking ring that was in a notebook. That's the basis of Uncharted 3. That was a terrible origin story. To form this amazing bond where this guy looks at him as a father figure in his life, a guiding force in his life, and as simple as that was terrible. It should have been a lot more than that. There should have been a lot more depth and a lot more emotion other than this kid's got spunk, which Sully actually says. It was terrible. That was a terrible story. A terrible story.
You didn't feel when you thought that Sully was dead?
No, not at all. Not in that one. Not at all. It just didn't set up any kind of emotion for me.
But it's not. Well, we're missing the point. It's not overrated because you could say Halo is overrated.
I could never say Halo was overrated.
I love Halo.
Thank you. I was getting yelled at.
I love Halo.
I think Halo has gotten the rating that it deserves.
Yep.
Halo 3 was not as great as Reach. I know you enjoy Halo 3, but Halo 3 was not as well received as Reach. Reach was a phenomenal story because everybody knew the ending, so everything was about the journey, and everything about it takes classic literary concepts and applies it to video games, and it's great storytelling. Great storytelling in Reach.
Halo 1.
Now they're reviving
Halo 2,
it.
Halo 3, Halo 8 ODST,
Halo ODST
Reach.
was garbage.
Yeah.
Halo Reach, Halo 4, coming out with Halo 5.
Nobody's talking about whether or not it's been milked. We're talking about whether or not it's overrated. Every single game was well received. The first one introduced first-person shooters to a console the way that they've been played on PCs for years.
GoldenEye.
The way that they've been played on PCs for years. GoldenEye had a button that you had to initiate an auto-aim. That is not the way that they've been playing it on PCs for years.
Big difference.
There's a huge difference between what GoldenEye did was multiplayer, not first-person shooter. GoldenEye did multiplayer, the way that people play multiplayer on PCs. Halo introduced first-person shooters the way that people played on PCs.
Didn't it take a lot of nods from Counter-Strike?
Yeah, it did.
That's what I
took
thought.
a lot of nods from Counter-Strike. And then Halo 2 introduced a whole new aspect that grew from the cult following of Halo, where people started connecting their consoles over a local internet connection so that then they could play online because the PC users of Halo already had online interconnectivity and were already playing multiplayer on PC. So Halo 2 introduced going online and playing online and playing with other people. Very well received, plus the dual wielding, plus taking out the freaking the cannon that you had which I don't like. I'm not a fan of, but they took out the cannon that was just a cheat hand cannon that was just fucking ridiculous, right? Halo 3 introduces a new arc in telling the story, a new aspect of telling the story, a new kind of enemy because the Flood had merged with something and they became a little bit more powerful. Then Halo 4 continues a new arc that you've always wanted to fucking approach, that you've always wanted to talk about, that people kind of felt, that Bungie probably felt was a little bit taboo to go into, but 343 Industries decided that it was somewhere that they wanted to go with the franchise, and they pulled it off fairly well. ODST, terrible game, because they tried to take Halo and turn it into what it wasn't, an open world game with mission-based missions. And it was completely terrible. The map was tiny, and every time you went to the spot, you had to sneak around. It was like trying to combine Metal Gear Solid, Call of Duty, and Grand Theft Auto all in one game. It was terrible. It was terrible. But Reach was a phenomenal story that they were trying to, because everybody knew what the ending was going to be. They knew that they couldn't surprise anybody. All they could do was just make it as epic as possible for the end, and they had to tell the entire story. I mean, Halo was always received, and it was said, the storytelling wasn't that great in 3. No, it wasn't, but the gameplay was pretty good. ODST was just terrible all around. Yeah, it was terrible all around, but they redeemed themselves with Reach, which had great storytelling and great gameplay. It really fell back to the classic Halo feel. Everything, there was never ever a whole, it's a Halo game, it's gonna be amazing. There was never ever that.
The new Halo game's coming out. Are you going to check it out? Why? What's going on? This. That sounds pretty good.
People consider what it is that the Halo is going to be about. Drake, you say Uncharted and people are like, can't wait for the next one. It's got to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. It's Naughty Dog. It's going to be awesome. That's overrated.
Yeah.
That's
So,
like automatically giving it a
after-
10 before the game ever
So
comes
you
out.
think that before Last of Us, it was overrated, coming up to being Last of Us?
Yeah.
Do you think
Absolutely.
Last of Us was a good game?
I thought Last of Us was fairly decent. I thought it was a good story. I thought there was a little bit of quirky behavior that they probably, or a little bit of quirky stuff that maybe shouldn't have been in it, like a shank breaking after using it once, or upgrading it so that then a shank is better and you can use it twice. Like I thought, like little things like that. I thought overall though, Last of Us was beautiful in terms of the way it looked, and I thought it was great storytelling and the reason I think it was great storytelling was because of the interaction. I can't remember their names at all.
Joel and Ellie.
Joel and Ellie, because of the interaction between Joel and Ellie, where Joel doesn't want to be a part of this girl's life, but it becomes forced to be like a father figure to her. And he actually adopts that role and actually starts to care for this girl, and she starts to care for, well, she always kind of cares for him, and that's when he realizes that maybe there's something to this, and there's something to this girl, more than just what she's supposed to be.
What do you guys think?
Yes, let us know in the comments. Do you agree with Jay and Nick? No.
Yeah. No, they
Yeah.
don't. They don't. They don't agree with us.
But you-
because
you
they're
have to-
sheeple.
Yeah.
They're sheeple. These are the look. No offense.
I'd say it's the best game of all time.
I love you guys, and I love that you watch the show. But a lot of times, people will just go off of the hype. I remember when people were
Metal
talking
Gear
to me.
Solid.
There is no hype for Metal Gear Solid.
It's just epic, dude.
I like Metal Gear Solid. That's why I'm always gonna play it. People hyped about Metal Gear Solid 5 being open world and
Oh, it's gonna be
all
the
that
best
stuff.
thing ever.
Yeah, it's gonna be the best thing ever. I thought it was gonna be the best thing because I wanted to see it in open world. That's my
Is
opinion.
it the best thing ever?
It's good. It's not great. I'll say
God,
that.
there's no pleasing this boy.
I'll say that Metal Gear Solid is good. It is not great. It is not phenomenal. It is not what it could have been. I think they could have done something a lot better with the game, but overall, it is a good experience. It's a good experience.
Stay tuned for the next episode. I do have a question for Nick relating on somewhat of this topic, but let us know in the comments what you think. Like I said, do you agree with me with the story and the game and it not being overrated, just a good game just to play, like a Halo, like a Gears of War, or do you agree with Jay and Nick? Let us know.
I thought you were gonna say fuckwads, but okay.
No, I'm not. If you want to follow us on Twitter, this is at fucktard number 1. You can see him on Improv Cot with a K. You can see him at IPGJBird without a K.
Did you say
J.
Twitter or Twitch? Because I heard you say Twitter.
You did say Twitter, you lunkhead.
You said
Also
Twitter.
on Twitter at Jimmy Poison.
now joining us is fucktard number 3.
And I'm Pete at Improv Cap with a K and at Improv Pete on Twitter. Thank you guys for watching. Go check out that Let's Play of Uncharted on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/improvgaming and let us know what you think. And as always,
Game on.